The daily power of free framework is a great way to predict how the day is going to expand. But you can actually get a way more detailed picture of this if you apply daily cycles to it. And that's what I want to talk about today. So let's get right into it. Now, if you don't already know what daily power of three is, I'm going to explain it very, very briefly. So essentially, it's the way that the daily candle forms. So if you're anticipating a bullish day, usually price will actually open up and move beneath the opening price before giving that expansion to the upside. And then at the end of the day, price will probably give a little bit of a retracement. So if we look at this bullish candle here on the left as an example, you can see that price opened up here and moved beneath the open, which is what actually formed this wick. Then you got the expansion, and then at the end of the day, price formed a high and retraced a little bit. Right, so if I was to go on to the 1 hour, you can probably see this in more detail, okay, because you can see that price opened up here, then we had a retracement, then the expansion that formed the bulk of the daily candle, and then at the end of the day, like I said, we got that retracement. Now that is what the daily power of three is, and the benefits of using it, essentially, when you see price open up and move beneath the open, and you're somewhere down here, but you're expecting the day to go higher, you know there's a high probability of price reversing within there, right? And then once the day does start to expand and you have higher targets up here and you're like down here, you know, because price has already manipulated and formed a low, it's not likely to come lower, right? You're likely to just get a continuation. So essentially it just helps you understand how the day is likely to form and you can position yourself within it. But as an intraday trader or a day trader, whatever you want to call it, it's my job to accurately predict the session expansions that actually take place within that daily candle. And that's what the daily cycles do, right? They paint a really, really clear picture of what sessions are actually going to contribute to the expansion legs and also what sessions are going to be the manipulations. So let me show you how to integrate them very, very nicely. So let's say that we're anticipating that this following day is going to be bullish. The way that price is likely to form is using that power of three, where price will open up, move beneath the open before expanding to the upside. Now, if we want to accurately predict what sessions are going to contribute to the manipulation, which ones are going to expand, and get a very detailed picture, we need to identify what daily cycle is actually playing out, right? Because it's the daily cycles that allow you to predict what the following session is going to do and what the following session after that is going to do. And the way that we can do that very, very easily is by waiting for price to form this start of the power of three, right? That protraction. Once we see that, we see what daily cycle that aligns with and take it from there. So what we want to do is see which kill zone is actually forming these lows down here, okay? Now, it can be a variety because there's a variety of different daily cycles, right? There's one where it is London that forms that low. There's one where it is New York that actually forms that low. There's one where Asia actually forms the low, okay? There's also one for indices where AM session forms that low, right? There's a variety of different daily cycles that could play out. So all you do is you wait for that manipulation and see which daily cycle it aligns with. So let's go to the one that I talk about the most on this channel first, right? Which is where London will form the low. So essentially, we get Asia consolidating and London sweeps out Asia. So if we see the day open up and move lower in London session beneath Asia, we know that that aligns with the London protraction cycle. So we know what follows that, right? We know how the day is likely to expand after that and in which sessions, right? Because we know after taking out Asia's low, London session is likely to expand to the upside, right? And then once we actually have seen that first part of the daily power of three play out, if we have another clear target up here, right, and we want to see the day actually continue to expand, right, to that target, then again, we can predict what session is likely to continue that expansion. Because if we've seen that London has impulsed to the upside, we know that a lot of the times when there's a clear target that I accidentally just deleted, we know that when there's still a clear target, New York session can actually form the continuation, okay? So by identifying what daily cycle is playing out when this manipulation is formed, you get a pretty good picture of how the rest of the day is going to move. Because for instance, we know that if you see Asia consolidating, usually this piece of price action between sessions isn't going to do anything, right? So you know that the low of the day isn't likely to form there. You also know that once you see this session expand and you're waiting for, the next expansion to the upside, there's a low probability that that's going to occur in between sessions. Okay, so you're also avoiding the dead space and really just able to position yourself within the high probability expansions within the session. Now, a daily cycle that I haven't actually spoken about too much on this channel is the one where Asia kill zone forms the low. Now, if you want a video on this that goes into more detail about this daily cycle, just comment below and I'll make it. But essentially, there's a daily cycle where it will be Asia kill zone that moves lower and takes out some kind of liquidity. So in the moment, if you're able to identify that that is what's going on and you compare it with the daily cycle, then you know what is following, right? Because in this particular daily cycle, we know that once Asia has taken out the low and formed a low down here, that low is likely to hold as the low of the day, right? So already you're able to very accurately time the low. It's the same with all the other daily cycles. You're very accurately able to time this low of the day once you look at it from a daily cycle perspective. Now, using this daily cycle as well, I know that before London session, price isn't likely to move, right? We're likely to get a bit of a consolidation. And then once London actually comes along, that usually will respect Asia's low and expand to the upside. So we know that London is likely to contribute to the next expansion in the daily power of 3. And then when, potentially we have a target that's still there, again, we go ahead and we use that New York continuation. Because we've seen London expand to the upside, we know that New York is also likely to continue to complete the target. And again, in between sessions is likely to be a bit of a consolidation, a bit of dead space. So like I say, you're able to accurately position yourself within the bulk of the expansion and, time the lows very well and really miss these dead periods. So I've waffled quite a lot there, but we're actually going to look at an example now. So let me play out this next daily candle. So it's this daily candle that we're going to be looking at. And we literally just want to identify the daily power of 3 in there and, how the manipulation forms, align that with a daily cycle. And from there, we know where the next sessions are likely to go. So jumping down onto the lower time frame, we're going to start just by looking at how the start of the day actually formed, right? So the stage of the power of 3 we're looking at is price opening and moving beneath the open and forming that low, right? Forming the start of that power of 3, and we identify what daily cycle that aligns with. So you can see here, this here is around midnight. That's where the daily candle opened, and price has moved beneath that in Asia session and manipulated liquidity, right? So in terms of daily cycle, this is a cycle that I call Asia manipulation, right? Essentially, Asia takes out liquidity and forms the low. Now, because I'm able to identify that daily cycle, I know that this low here, first of all, is likely to be low of the day. Okay, so that is already great information. I'm timing the low of the day very, very nicely. But also I know, now that's meant to be low of the day, I'm not anticipating London to come and sweep that, right? We've already had the manipulation to form the low of the day. So again, more useful information on how the rest of the power of 3 is likely to unfold. So now, what we're looking for is the next stage of the power of 3, which is really just going to be expansion to the upside, okay? And using this daily cycle, I know that in between session, right, is likely to just chop around. Okay, I know that. I'm only expecting price to continue the expansion once kill zone hits, right? Because that's what the daily cycle says. So if I play this out, you can see that actually in between sessions, price is extremely choppy. And it's not until London kill zone begins, which is this purple box here, that price actually starts the expansion to the upside. So again, we've been able to use the daily cycles to accurately predict when price is going to expand within that daily expansion. So now London kill zone has played out, right? And in terms of the daily power of 3, this is what we're currently working with, right? We're working with price opening up, moving lower, and starting to expand to the upside, right? But let's say that you have another target over here on the left. And in this example, you actually do. If you was to go back 16th of October on gold, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So we have another target here, right? And we're expecting the daily expansion to reach that target. So how can we perfectly time and predict when price is going to do this next expansion, so you can accurately position yourself and, you know, not sit through choppy price action again? So we know, using the daily cycles, when you get that London expansion and you have a clear target, that you can actually get a New York continuation cycle. I've spoken about this a lot on my channel. So knowing this, what do we anticipate? Well, first of all, we're going to expect this in between session period to retrace, right? And we want to see price retrace and take out some kind of liquidity. So you wouldn't position yourself in between the sessions. You would wait and wait for that criteria to be met. And if I play this out, you can see that in between sessions, price retraced, and we actually came and took out this old low, right? So we're predicting very, very well what's going to happen within this daily power of 3, right? So you're getting a more detailed picture. And we know that once price has done this and we form this low at the key time, that New York kill zone is likely to continue this expansion. And if I play this out, let me put in the kill zone. If I play this out, you can see that it is New York that continues the expansion and reaches the target here. And you can see as well just how accurate these timings are and the use of these kill zones are, because price reached the target and at the end of the kill zone, right, once the kill zone had expanded and done what we're anticipating, that's when we get that retracement at the end of the day. So if we look at this daily power of 3 as a whole, you can see that price opened up, moved lower, expanded to the upside, formed a high, and then gave a bit of a retracement. That's the daily power of 3 as a whole. But by using the daily cycles, right, we were able to predict when the low of the day is going to form, when price is just going to consolidate, when the next expansion is going to take place, which was in London session, when price is going to retrace within that expansion, you know, when we're going to form the low and get the next expansion, right? You've got a much more detailed picture of how the day is going to unfold. Now, if you want help to actually identify these daily cycles, I've created a free flowchart, okay? And in this flowchart, if you're trading London, it's going to take you step by step to identify these daily cycles, right? It has the criteria that you make sure are met. It even has key timings, which are going to increase the probability of your daily cycle playing out. And then I have the entries as well. Same for New York, right? You follow the steps. It will help you identify the daily cycles in real time. It has timings to increase the probability, and it has entries. So you can use this to identify the daily cycles very, very easily. And I'm going to leave a link in the description for you to get it for free. If you want another video where I show the daily cycle where you don't need the sweep of Asia's low, then comment below and I'll actually go ahead and make that. But yeah, this is how I use daily cycles to get a way more detailed picture of the daily power of 3. I hope you found value in this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.